First of all, uh, today we are celebrating Thanksgiving. I know there's some folks who are traveling already, but some folks that are here, we want to celebrate together. And so we're getting the holiday season started. Right after service, we're going to be having our Thanksgiving potluck. And so we invite every single person that's here to stick around with us. Don't feel bad, even if you didn't bring something. We have food. There will always be enough. And so right after service today, after our regular worship time, we're going to have potluck lunch, and then we have some fun and games after. So stay for all of that. It's going to be fun. If you brought a dish, you can put it on the table on the side. There's also a microwave and a fridge later in the kids' room if you need it. But we're going to have some activities, including our jigsaw puzzle competition afterwards. And so actually, if anyone's like on the live stream right now and you're in San Diego, you have time to come down and join us today. Come be here in person. And so the holiday season's getting started. There's a couple other ways that we're going to be celebrating as well. This week, we are finishing this Sunday today. We're going to be finishing our Global Jesus series. But next Sunday starts the Advent season already, getting ready for Christmas. And so as part of that reflection, the Advent calendar, we're going to be sending out a set of resources, including a devotional. For some of you guys, during the Advent season, the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas, many Christian traditions take some time to reflect on Jesus and what he means for our world. And so our topics are going to start next Sunday on that, but we're also going to be sending a devotional calendar. So if you want a daily devotional on the Advent season and what to reflect on each day, that will be in your email this week. It starts, I'm telling you now, because the calendar starts this Saturday, the 29th, actually. If you don't receive that email yet, you can go to our website, ethnos.us, and fill out the Contact Us form, and we will make sure that you get it. And then coming up in December, the first week, we're going to be having our next newcomer lunch. And so that's happening on December 7th. And if you're newer to Ethnos this season, or you've never attended one before, some of you guys have been coming to Ethnos for a while and you've never been to a newcomer lunch, come to that lunch on the 7th. It's a free lunch, first of all, and second of all, you'll get to hear the story of Ethnos and get to know how you can be a part of living out our mission. And then lastly, with the Christmas season getting ready to start, I know some of you guys are already thinking about buying gifts for Christmas. Some of you, I know you're putting it off, you're compartmentalizing, you're like after Thanksgiving. But before you get started thinking about that, we do have an awesome opportunity for you to participate in, and that is with Angel Tree. And so Angel Tree is a gift drive. There is a mini Christmas tree over on the back table in the corner over there. And on that Christmas tree, there are a number of tags, and you can take one or more of those tags. Each tag represents a child that we have the opportunity to bless this Christmas. Our hope is that when you take one of those tags, that we will be able to bless each child with at least 3 presents. And so there's like an age and a gender and some info on there for that. So feel free to look at all of the tags, jot down the names of the items you want to bless our Angel Tree kids with. And then when you bring the gifts back, you're going to just label them and have a Post-it to say which child that they are for. And we'll be dropping them off together on the tree. Don't take the tags. Okay, should you take it off the tree so someone else knows you use that one? Oh, got it. Okay. Okay, leave the tag on the tree. But note the name of the child. And then you're going to label your gifts, and you're going to bring them back on Sunday, December 14th. So it's 3 weeks from now. You'll bring them back on the 14th. And so we're going to be delivering everything by Tuesday, the 16th. If you have any questions, you can talk to Pastor Mariah. And so, yeah, if you want info on that. So that'll be around. You get first pick if you're here this week, so go over and look at it. That you can think about that for your holiday shopping season. It's a way to bless some of the families local here in San Diego that don't have the means this season. All right. And always, if you are a person who considers Ethnos your home community, we do have opportunities for giving for the church. And so you can give your regular donations and offering to the box on the back table or to our website, ethnos.us. All right. We're going to transition now. I know normally we dismiss the kids. Ethnos kids are actually hanging out in here today. So kids and youth and anyone, you're going to be hanging out and joining us in service today. We do have some questions, though, for you to participate in. And so our schedule is going to look a little bit different. Normally we start to have a prayer time now. We're going to actually do that at the end of our message. But I would like for you to actually turn to a neighbor, though, and talk about a question. I'm going to give a little bit more time because I want you to think about it and share some of the stories that you might have from this. But I would love for you to turn to a neighbor and talk about what are some ways that people show appreciation to somebody else. Now, think about it in maybe your family context. Think about it maybe in the cultural background that you come from. Think about it in the different places that you have lived maybe. Think about it different ways that you've seen it in different cultures. What are some different ways that people show appreciation to someone else? All right. And so think about it, and I want you to talk about it together as a group. You can get together with like 2 or 3 people around you. And that might be, you can think about the actions that come with that. You can think about, is there a posture? You can think about, are there certain words that come with that? Are there gifts? Are there things exchanged? What is it that different people do, different cultures do to show appreciation to someone? Does that make sense? All right. And so talk about that and we'll come back together. Give some time for it. We'll come back together in a few minutes. We'll come back together in just a moment. would love to hear some of the examples so that you guys thought of. So, what are some of the ways that people show appreciation to someone else? Just raise your hand from where you are, and we'll just be shouting out today. What's some of the things you guys talked about? What are all the ways that you guys talked about? Yeah. Yeah, so saying there's a lot of parallels with different love languages. So things like some people, uh, it's gifts. Some people are just saying the words of encouragement or thanks. Sometimes it's a physical touch, like a hug. Um, yeah. What was it? I forget all five of them. Spending time together. Oh, and serving. You mentioned serving them. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. What did other folks talk about? Ways that you show appreciation. Gifts, just in general. Yeah. Gifts. You guys were talking about gifts over here too. Yeah, so doing things for them. And so if you're bad at one way, you might go to some of the other things and be like, you like doing things to let them know that they're appreciated. All right. Thanks. Other thoughts? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, praising others publicly. I was actually thinking about this. So I grew up in a Christian community that was also Chinese. And so in a number of East Asian cultures, giving public recognition is actually sometimes one of the biggest ways to honor someone. And so if we're here and I'm thanking Cedric and Vanessa, who are running our tech stuff in the background, that they're doing an awesome job, that, yeah, people appreciate sometimes that recognition. I know sometimes in other cultures that's like, no, 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 don't point me out in public, and I don't want to be seen. And so there's some differences in that. Same thing with like acts of like giving gifts. Sometimes people appreciate it, and sometimes they're like, no, 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 don't get me a gift. You know, like I want to spend time together, or I just want an encouraging word or a note or something like that. Yeah. Anything else come to mind as you guys have thought about some of these things? Yeah, hosting and serving food. So spending that like a meal together and serving people in that way. Yeah, sometimes actually even the act of inviting somebody over and like having them in your house, or the other way, going to somebody's house and visiting them when they invite you, is actually one of those acts that signifies valuing somebody. Yeah. Anything else coming to mind? What does that mean, seeing people? Yeah. Can you describe it a little bit? Yeah, to notice them, to notice their strengths, notice something that they've done, and kind of let them know that you see it and that you appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, as we think about these different ways, there are a myriad of ways that we might show appreciation to someone and give thanks to someone. This week, as Thanksgiving comes, just 4 days from now, uh, in general, I think when we think about Thanksgiving, one of the meanings of it, we think about, oh yeah, we are supposed to be thankful. We're reminded to be thankful for this week. I know it's a little bit funny to have just a holiday for it. Like ideally, we should be thankful all year round. I think that's probably true. But having a reminder of it is always a good thing as well. When I think about some of the origins of the Thanksgiving holiday here in the United States, it's when some of the earliest immigrants came to the American continent, and they were thankful that the original Americans helped them out, helped them survive, helped them teach them how to make it in a new land. They also created this holiday because they were thankful for the provision of crops that they were able to eat. They were thankful for their survival. But what became an annual celebration wasn't just about a general thankfulness to like the universe or the world. The original Thanksgiving holiday was a celebration to give thanksgiving to God. Right? Many of those original immigrants came here as religious refugees, and they were Christians, and they recognized that when we think about being thankful, it's not just that we can remember what we have or what has happened to us, but that we have someone to be thankful to. And so we're going to be thinking about that today. It's not just about having a big meal together, even though it's fun to have a big meal together. It's not just about spending time with family together, even though it's often fun to spend time with family together. It's not about football. It's not about getting ready to go shopping, right? That we are to be reminded, especially as Christians, that we have someone to be thankful to, our Creator and our Provider. And so we're going to focus on that today. He actually desires for us to practice thankfulness. And I always appreciate that he gives us instructions on that, because it's not something that necessarily comes to all of us naturally, but it's also one of the ways he wants to bless us. And so I know sometimes some of our gatherings, maybe on Thursday, we have dinner, and then someone at the table says, hey, let's go around and everyone say something that you're thankful for, right? And I do think it's a good practice. But it's not just to share with people. It's not just to remember. It's actually part of our process of Jesus trying to transform us with his love and his grace. And so we're going to break down a couple of ways that that is true for us. Thankfulness does look different, and looks different depending on our cultural background, our family background, sometimes our personality. But thinking about what does it mean to give thanks to God. 3 things that I'm going to mention today. We're going to go through each one by one, but that thankfulness changes, first, our attitudes. Thankfulness changes our outlook, and thankfulness actually changes our relationship with God. Right? And so when we encourage you, sometimes we're here and we are gathering to worship God, and we, as part of our prayers or as part of our singing, we say yes, we say thank you to God, and we want to be reminded that he is there. He is also doing something in that process. He is actually transforming our hearts. And so we're to go through these one at a time. First of all, thankfulness changes our attitude. When we focus our eyes on God and his generosity and his provision, it takes our eyes off of just what we're lacking. It takes our eyes off of what we have need of. It takes our eyes off of what our problems in life currently are. And it's not that we don't have problems, and it's not that we don't have needs, and it's not that those things go away. Those things are real. But when we practice thankfulness, it fixes our eyes on something else besides only our expectations that haven't been met. Right? And that's how it can start to change our attitude. I don't know about you. For me, I think my default attitude is not thankfulness. My mind can often go to, and I think this might be true for some of us here too, my mind can go to the problems. Okay? My mind can go to the things that I need to get done, and I'm like stressed about all the stuff I need to get done. Sometimes maybe our default attitudes are ones of like complaining or grumbling. Right? I especially think that's been true in our current internet age. For some reason, when everyone gathers together online, wherever that is, we end up just complaining a lot as humanity. Some of the most prevalent comments on comment boards or for company websites or news articles are people complaining, right, about what is going on. And so we have an easy time, at least I'll say I have an easy time, seeing things in the world that are wrong, seeing ways that, there's just problems, there's obstacles, and I think it's pretty easy for me to make a list of complaints. If our exercise today was, hey, make a list of all the complaints that you have, I'm sure many of us can fill up pages and pages of it, right? God wants our complaints. He does want us to bring our complaints to him. But he also wants us to spend some time focusing on what we can be thankful for as well. Because thankfulness reminds us that God is good. Thankfulness reminds us that even though we can't always see what he is doing, that God is at work. Thankfulness reminds us that there is someone else who cares about us, who is planning our life for us, and who wants us to be connected to him and his grace. Philippians 4:6-7 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus." Right? This verse is often just used to say, hey, make sure you're praying and make sure you are giving thanks to God. But it comes with some promises here. It comes with some things that God does as we practice coming to him in prayer and coming to him with thanks. It says that his peace is going to protect us. Right? His peace comes as we bring our needs to him, yes, and then practice thankfulness for what he's done. It says his peace will protect our hearts and our minds. What is God's peace protecting us from? I think one of the things might be the temptation to complain. It might be our tendency to grumble about what's going on. It might be our default bad attitude that we've just got all day or all week or whatever it is. Right? God's peace is trying to protect us from that. Right? He doesn't want us to just walk around this world as angry people, and it's not that there's not things to be angry about. But he doesn't want that to be our common default attitude. He is trying to shape it. And so thankfulness shapes our attitudes. Second thing that thankfulness changes is our outlook. The way that we view the world, the way that we view life, the way we think sometimes about the future, the way that we think about what our possibilities are. Being thankful helps us to accept there are actually things that we don't control. Now think about it, right? If we are thankful for something someone else did for us, that's not we went and got that thing or that item or did that task, right? The other person did it for us. They gave it for us. When we're thankful to God, we are acknowledging, hey, God, I didn't do this. You did it. Thank you. Thank you for providing that in my life. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for making that connection. Thank you for bringing that opportunity. Right? We are acknowledging that there are some things that are not in our control. But we're also acknowledging that there's a good Father working things out for our benefits. Thankfulness helps us approach life not just with fear, not just seeing what we lack, not just with our anxiety, but being shaped by God's love and his grace. Which, when we recognize that we have an abundant God, it then overflows into thankfulness. It says it this way in Colossians 2:7, says, "Let your roots grow down into him, and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth you were taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness." Right? It's saying that as we are rooted in Jesus, our faith and our thankfulness grow together. Right? Our faith and our thankfulness grow together. If you've ever said, hey, I want to be stronger in faith, I want to grow in faith, one of the things Jesus invites us to do is to practice thankfulness and grow in thankfulness. Right? It's recognizing that, life might not be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. As Jared shared last week, there's going to be problems. God doesn't say, I'm going to get rid of all the problems in your life. What he does say is that he is going to continue to be with us. He's going to continue to provide for us. And so when we set our eyes on him, we can view what's happening around us and our future prospects in light of his provision and his grace and his abundance. Right? He wants us to build our lives on, right? To build our thoughts, to build our attitudes, to build our actions on the solid foundation of Jesus. And as we do that, both our faith and our thankfulness will grow together. Right? Because, why? Jesus' work looks something like this. He says, no matter who we are, no matter what we've done, you're accepted and you're loved. Says no matter how much effort you put in and whether the results look like success or they look like failure to you, you have a promise. No matter what problems you end up facing in life, no matter what you end up lacking, you always have life in Jesus. Right? And so by being rooted in him, our faith and our thankfulness can actually grow together. Someone who is strong in faith will also be strong in thankfulness. Right? And someone who grows in thankfulness will grow in faith. Last thing that thankfulness changes is relationship. Thankfulness changes our relationship with God because thankfulness isn't, again, just about the feeling of gratitude. It's who we have to show thanks to. Right? And so that's one of the questions that's always perplexed me about Thanksgiving kind of being a national holiday. And I think it's good for people to be reminded to practice being thankful. But I always wondered, if I'm just thankful, like who am I showing that thanks to? If I don't know God as my creator, like who am I thanking? Jesus invites us to be thankful to God the Father. Jesus did that himself. He thanked his Father, God in heaven. He invites us to do the same. It's kind of like, so this is going to date me a little bit. I remember one of the exciting gift moments of my childhood was when this brand new hit video game came out. It was the hottest thing on, I don't know, the entire planet, but in our country at least. The game was Tetris, right? You guys are like groaning because you're like, yes, this was an amazing, groundbreaking game when it came out in the US. And we opened it up and we were so excited. I was so excited. It was my birthday present. It was at the table for breakfast. And if I'm just super excited about this and I'm thankful and I just like, I don't know, shout at the universe that I'm thankful for it, like, I think I'd be missing something, right? Because who was it that like bought the game? Who was it that wrapped the game? Who was it that served me breakfast that morning? It was my parents, right? If I go that whole day being thankful for the game, but not thanking my parents, I would be missing something. I could just run around and say, oh my goodness, I got this awesome game and tell everybody about it. And like if I never thank my mom and my dad for being thoughtful enough to go and get it, then I would be missing out on a relationship. It's the same thing with God. We're going to practice, I'm going to give you a preview. In about 10 minutes, we are going to practice sitting and thinking about some things that we are thankful for. Right? The goal isn't just to come up with a list of ways that I am #blessed. Right? The goal is to think about, hey, what do I have to thank God for? Right? We can be excited about so much that we have in this life. Awesome. We can also have those moments where we're like, oh my goodness, I was so stressed about this, but it worked out. We can think about the things, even when we're lacking, that there's still some things that we have. What are we doing with those thoughts of thankfulness? God wants us to appreciate him as the giver of good gifts. And here's what it is. It's actually part of building a relationship with him. If you're like, hey, I want to grow in my relationship with God. I want to have a strong relationship with him. I want to be close to him. Great. I think that's an awesome goal. Thankfulness is one of those things. Right? Just like we talked about, if someone did something for you and you really appreciate them, show them, right? Tell them. Do something to let them know that you appreciate them. And do that same thing with God. Right? Hey, God provided for me? Awesome. I want to give you a gift in return. I want to serve you. I want to say some words of encouragement. Right? I want to let you know that I acknowledge you, that I see you. Your presence in my life. It's amazing. Thankfulness draws us closer to God. There's this back and forth. You're like, well, he's abundant and he can give me infinite things, and so it didn't really cost him anything. Well, like, yeah, in one sense. That doesn't mean he doesn't want us to still have a conversation with him. Hey, God, thank you so much for providing that. Right? Thank you for what you did. Right? It can be as simple as the air that we have to breathe, the water we have to drink, the life that we live every day. Right? Are we coming back and thanking him? Because he actually doesn't want us to just go off on our own. He's not a father who just gives the gifts and then is never present and says, I hope your life goes well. No, he's actually there with us. He's there handing us the gifts. He's there taking care of us. And he wants to see us enjoy it, and he wants to sit there and experience it with us. He wants to be in a relationship where he says he loves us, and we say that we love him. It reminded me of this story in Luke 17, verse 11 through 19. And we'll end with this. This is Jesus. It says, now on his way to Jerusalem, Jesus traveled along the border between Samaria and Galilee. As he was going into a village, 10 men who had leprosy met him. They stood at a distance and called out in a loud voice, Jesus, Master, have pity on us. When he saw them, he said, go show yourselves to the priest. And as they went, they were cleansed. One of them, when he saw he was healed, came back praising God in a loud voice. He threw himself at Jesus' feet and thanked him. And he was a Samaritan. Jesus asked, were not all 10 cleansed? Where are the other 9? Has no one returned to give praise to God except the foreigner? Then he said to them, rise and go. Your faith has made you well. I think it's interesting that we read the story today as we're talking about it. If we want to add one thing to the list of ways to show appreciation, apparently you can go throw yourself at someone's feet. And so maybe next time you think that you're thankful to someone, you can think about that. This man, he comes back after his leprosy, his skin disease, he was healed from, and he comes running back to Jesus. He's praising God on the way with his words. He throws himself at Jesus' feet, and he thanks him. And that's his way of showing appreciation to Jesus for what he did. It's interesting, though, he's a Samaritan here. Part of this story, Samaritans were not welcomed by the Jewish people, and so they were looked down upon. And so the fact that Jesus, a Jewish rabbi, is not only healing this man who's a Samaritan, but it's the Samaritan, not the presumably the other Jews who came back and thanked Jesus. He's getting highlighted as the foreigner, right? I think it's interesting because the original Thanksgiving is a story about foreigners giving thanks. But it also reminds me of how much we here in America have a lot relative to a lot of the world. And I know that's not everyone, everything has the same stuff. But in general, we are well-to-do. And yet, how many times is it someone that comes from a different context who is the more thankful person? How often is it the people who have little who want to give back the most? Right? Jesus is recognizing here it's not your culture or your religious upbringing that makes you close to Jesus. It's drawing close to him in relationship. He wants us to come to him. He wants us to come to his feet. He wants us to come in thankfulness and recognize what he's done and give praise to God who provides. Our cultures do have a lot of different traditions for how we show appreciation. How can we show appreciation to God? In a few minutes, we're going to practice this together as an exercise. But first, I want to pause, and we do this each week, to spend some time in discussion. And so any thoughts, questions, comments about the topic today, about the passages? You could raise your hand from where you are. All right, everyone's like, I'm ready to go. Let's give thanks. You're excited, I can see it. All right, here's what we're going to do. So Joy has some worksheets, just little sheets of paper, to help us, just prompt us on giving some thanks. And she'll come around. If you need a pen, she has some pens too, or you can use your own pens. I'm going to ask you to think about two questions. And the questions are this. I guess they're statements. First, think about this in two ways. First, try to name at least 5 things that you interact with every week that you can thank God for. So some things that you regularly come across every day, every week, whatever it is, things that maybe you normally overlook, things that you interact with all the time and you don't think are that special, things that you maybe used to be thankful for, but you've seen them so much or had them so much that you're not as thankful as much anymore. Because I do believe God wants us to think about not just the big things that he does for us, not just the giant Christmas presents or birthday presents or whatever it is, but the things that he does every day. Second, try to name at least 5 ways that God has helped you this year. And so those might be a need that he met for you. That might be a prayer that he answered for you. That might be a time that you were lacking that he met that need. That might be something that you didn't even know that you needed, but that he provided for you. And so, 2 categories. You can, of course, think of more than 5 things, but I'm going to encourage you to think of at least 5. I'm going to give a couple of minutes for this, and then what we're going to do after that, after I prompt us, is we're going to get together in some groups, and we're just going to spend some time praying to God and thanking him for these things, right? And so I'll prompt us after a few minutes. So I'll give at least 3 minutes to do this, to fill out your list. But if everyone looks like they need more time, I'll give some more time, and then we'll share some of these things together. You can finish, of course, putting more stuff on your list. You can always add more to this list, take it home this week. But what I'm going to invite us to do is two things. First, I'm going to say bye to the live stream. And so you guys at home, practice thankfulness this week as you're thinking about it. Take your list, go spend some time in prayer with God. I think that's a good thing to practice all